FM. First, our top stories. U.S. Congress to hear Nigerian Christian persecution claims on Thursday. Bandits abduct 25 schoolgirls, kill vice principal in deadly attack on Kebbi school. Anyanwu reject expulsion from PDP, slams Ibadan convention as jamboree. Ex-AGF Malami declares 2027 Kebbi governorship bid. Presidency and Obi clash over 423-man Nigeria delegation for COP30. On the international scene, a Democrat break rank. On the international scene, Bangladesh's ousted leader Sheikh Hasina sentenced to death after crimes against humanity conviction. And in sports, DR Congo shatter Nigeria's 2026 World Cup dreams. Those are our top stories. Details coming up in just a moment. The United States House of Representatives Subcommittee on Africa will hold an open hearing on Thursday, November 20, 2025 to examine President Donald Trump's recent redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. The CPC designation, if ratified by the Senate, will allow the U.S. to impose sanctions on Nigerian officials found complicit in religious persecution and limit certain forms of bilateral assistance. It also signals to the international community that religious freedom in Nigeria remains under serious threat. The hearing, scheduled for 11 a.m. in room 2172 of the Rayburn House Office building and available via live webcast, to be chaired by Representatives Chris Smith, Republican, New Jersey. It will feature two panels of witnesses, including senior U.S. State Department officials and Nigerian religious leaders. According to the invite to the members of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, panelists will include senior bureau officials of the Bureau of African Affairs, Jonathan Pratt, and Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, Jacob McGee. The second panel will feature the Director of the Center for Religious Freedom, Nina Shea, Bishop Wilfred Anagbe of Makurdi Catholic Diocese in Nigeria, and Oge Unubogu of the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The congressional hearing is expected to review not only the scope of religious persecution in Nigeria, but also potential policy responses, including targeted sanctions, humanitarian assistance, in collaboration with Nigerian authorities to prevent further violence. Meanwhile, bandits have reportedly abducted 25 students from the Government Girls Comprehensive Senior Secondary School GGCSS in Maga, Kebbi State. It was gathered the girls were whisked away during an attack by the gunmen on Sunday night at the school located in the Danko Wasagu local government area of the state. According to sources, the attackers killed the school's vice principal, Malam Hassan Makuku, before abducting several schoolgirls. Witnesses said the bandits operated without resistance and caused widespread panic, throwing the entire region into deep fear and mourning. Makuku was reportedly shot while attempting to protect the students during the invasion. Community members have been offering prayers for his soul, asking Allah to grant him mercy, a peaceful resting place, and to comfort his family and loved ones over the painful and unjust loss. The Kebbi State Police Public Relations Officer CSP Nafiu Abubakar, while confirming the incident, said 25 students were abducted. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ahmed Idris, disclosed that the Deputy Governor, Senator Umar Tafida, had been dispatched to the school to assess the situation on behalf of the Governor, Nasir Idris, who is currently out of the state. Concerned parents and residents are awaiting official updates on the fate of the abducted girls. And now to party politics. A factional National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party PDP, Samuel Anyanwu, has dismissed his expulsion from the party, describing the recently concluded National Convention in Ibadan, Oyo State, as a jamboree. Anyanwu gave his opinion hours after the PDP announced his expulsion alongside other party chieftains. He argued that the exercise was fundamentally flawed, claiming that many states were not represented. He said 16 states had not even done their congresses. The entire Southeast has not done theirs. Anyanwu further noted that even previous Congress has not been formally communicated to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). He insisted that with several states absent, the convention, which lasted from Saturday into early Sunday, could not be considered all-inclusive. Addressing his expulsion, Anyanwu said there was no legitimate basis for it. Anyanwu said the committee announced his expulsion from the party lacked the legal standing to do so. Until the announcement of the expulsion, Anyanwu served as the suspended national secretary of the PDP. PDP, at its 2025 national convention in Ibadan, Oyo State on Saturday, had expelled several high-profile members, including Anyanwu, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike, former National Legal Advisor Kamaldeen Ajibade, former Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose, Imo PDP Chairman Austin Nwachukwu, among others, over alleged anti-party activities. Still on party politics, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has officially announced his intention to run for governor of Kebbi State in the 2027 election. Malami vowed to tackle insecurity and revive the state's struggling agricultural economy. He made the declaration during an interview with DCL Hausa on Monday, where he expressed confidence in the strength of his political party across the state. The further AGF criticized the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), accusing the party of worsening conditions in the north and leaving farmers at the mercy of insecurity. He lamented that bandit attacks had driven many farmers from their land, severely affecting food production. He explained that his ambition is motivated by a desire to salvage Kebbi State, restore security, rebuild the agricultural sector, and defend the welfare of residents, insisting that his campaign is not for personal gain but a rescue mission. In July, Malami resigned from APC and joined the African Democratic Congress (ADC). He revealed that his decision followed wide consultations and deep personal reflection. He also explained that it was driven by personal ambition or anger. It was not driven rather by personal ambition or anger, but by love for the nation and concern for the hardship Nigerians are facing. The presidency has defended the size and spread of Nigeria's delegation to COP30, saying the climate talks require officials from many ministries and agencies to protect the country's interest. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Timitokpe Ajayi, argued that climate negotiations cut across energy, finance, environment, transport, agriculture, and security, making a narrow team disadvantageous. His argument comes hours after the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023 election, Peter Obi, accused the Tinubu-led government of what he called a stunning display of misplaced priorities for sending a 749-member delegation to COP30. A breakdown of the delegates list shared by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change shows that 749 names carry Nigeria's party badge across the parties and parties overflow list on categorization that includes civil society, private sector actors, academics, and partners who registered under Nigeria. However, the number of delegates from government agencies was around 423. Obiang argued that China, the world's second largest economy with a population of over 1.4 billion, sent 789 delegates to the event held in Belém, Brazil. In a post on his official X handle titled "In Delegations, Nigeria Competes Well," the former Anambra State governor said, again, I quote, I'm quoting now again, in a bitter twist of irony, we thank Nigeria for having the third largest delegation at COP30 with 749 delegates, similar to China with 789 delegates, end of quote. It will be noted that China's GDP stands at $18.74 trillion, while Nigeria's is a little over $200 billion, barely 1% of that size. They said China's GDP per capita is about $13,300, whereas Nigeria is about 10% of that. According to him, 63% of Nigerians live in multidimensional poverty, which is about 150 million people, the highest number in the world, facing deprivations in health, education, and living standards, while it is only 3.9% in China. Meanwhile, China's population is about 7 times larger than that of Nigeria. Obi stated that this stark contrast illustrates why Nigeria should not be sending a delegate of this size. You're still on to the World News at 12 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll go for a very, very short break. We'll be right back with our news analysis segment. It is good to have you back. Joining me on our news analysis segment is Peter Anosike, a current affairs analyst. He is also an academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Brenner University in the state of Delaware, United States. He is also the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
Now let's go straight to the first topic of discussion. Obviously, the alleged Christian genocide, and this time the news is that the U.S. Congress is to hear the claims of this Christian genocide on Thursday. It looks like the U.S. is really taking these claims seriously, with a subcommittee on representatives of subcommittee on Africa holding an open hearing that November 2025 to examine the President's recent redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. What do you think about this story?
Well, for me, they are taking the right step, understand? They are following a due process. So this shows it's not going to be a unilateral decision by Donald Trump, understand? So a panel has been set to actually investigate what's going on in Nigeria and to hear from both parties, even though they are well aware of what is happening in Nigeria. They are aware, they have their facts and figures of what is happening in Nigeria. And even yesterday, the Pope added Nigeria as among the countries that Christians are being persecuted. Understand? Or the Pope himself added Nigeria among the countries where Christians are being persecuted. So they just want to follow due process and to hear from all the sides, and not what Donald Trump said, and not that what Donald Trump said is not true. You and I are in Nigeria. We know what's happening in the country. So, but they are trying that to follow due process. And I know, or I already know the outcome, because facts doesn't concern how you feel. Facts are facts. It doesn't respect anybody. It doesn't concern how anybody feels. Understand me? So they are going there, let everybody come and state his own side. But the truth is truth and the fact is fact. Understand? Even for those who may want to speak from both sides of the mouth, the Pope himself has shut everybody up. Or the Pope himself, by adding Nigeria to the countries that Christians are being persecuted, he has already stated his own part. Because I know what Nigerians may want to go there and do, that to twist figures and to twist facts. America has their embassy here. Understand me? They have all their people here. Nigeria is now a community, and what happens here is heard in China, is heard in India, is heard in Australia. So it is not easy again to use one hand and cover the moon.
Now, according to the information, it will feature 2 panels of witnesses, including senior U.S. the department officials and Nigerian religious leaders. But taking a look at the names here, the second part is what interests me the most. The Center for Religious Freedom, Nina Shia, Bishop Wilfred Anagwe of Makurdi Catholic Diocese in Nigeria, and Oge Onubugo of the Center for Strategic and International Study. It doesn't really look like there are lots of those from the Nigerian representative to give a full breakdown of what's happening, at least not less from the government side. Because
so excuse me, do you want to buy your Ononoga there? Do you want Daniel Banda there? Do you want Reno Omokri there? They go for credible people.
But the panel is not complete without hearing the other side of the story. This
okay, they should have sent Bayo Ononoga.
I mean, it doesn't have to be buying Ononoga, but at least someone from the government side to, to bring their own facts, if they have any, to counter what these people are going to say. Well, at least that's what the panel is supposed to be. You weigh both. When you're getting the story from just one fact. The purpose of this committee, some may argue, is defeated already. It's to some people it feels like, well, these people have already made up their mind. They just want these people to come and give more reason for them to put boots on the ground on Nigerian soil.
Are you denying there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Well, I'm one of those that don't exactly want to categorize it as religious. There is a genocide, that's for sure, but I think the genocide here is multifaceted than just Christians being killed. It's much more wider. To me, just categorize, just putting it as Christian genocide is too minimalistic and too simple.
Excuse me, who are doing these killings? Who are doing these killings?
Obviously, Islamic.
Fine. Is there any Christian organization that is a terrorist organization?
No, but that still doesn't deny the fact that people are being killed, Christians or no Christians. I know it's a much wider situation.
I know that
Christian genocide.
People are being killed. Understand me?
There is a genocide. No one.
America wants to stop this killing. America wants to stop this killing. Do you hear that of a protest last week where some people are saying that these bandits are their brothers, their fathers, their relations? You heard it?
Yeah.
Do you hear of that protest where some people are saying that bandits are their brothers, are their fathers, are their relations?
Obviously, that people in the community, they must have known quite a number of them.
So those people should be spared. Eh?
No, nobody is saying that.
Okay, so let them come out with their findings. This is not Nigeria where judges have compromised. Understand? This is not Nigeria where there's a judgment system and no justice system. So America is a fair society.
Meanwhile, the bandits have not even stopped ravaging. The latest is coming from Kebbi State, where 25 schoolgirls have been abducted, with a vice principal of a school in Kebbi State, that's the government girls comprehensive senior secondary school, killed. For trying to protect it looks like Donald Trump's threats only lessen the situation for a bit, and looks like they've come back out guns blazing.
So
about the bandits here.
So for me, it behoves on government to try and stop this. It behoves on government to stop this killing. Even if it's pagans that are being killed, they are human beings. Muslims that are being killed, they are human beings. Christians that are being massacred, they are human beings. So government should try and stop these killings. The number one responsibility of government is protection of lives and property. That's the number one responsibility of government. So government should live up to the oath they swore when they were assuming office. Understand me?
Unfortunately,
and okay, imagine that vice principal that was killed just because he wants to protect the abduction of his students.
Unfortunately, there's so much happened and very few time now. Quickly, what do you think about the national convention of the PDP? It looks like the party finally developed a spine to expel Wike from the party.
Well, the truth is that Yerima, the young army officer, has shown that Wike is not invincible. Understand? That Wike can be tamed. Understand? He has shown that Nelson Wike can be tamed. So with his humiliation of Wike, the phobia of Wike has disappeared.
But don't you think there'll be consequences though? Because there were I've tried to talk to legal practitioners, and the conflicting judgment on whether the party should hold or not will definitely play a huge factor in this convention. That's on one side, and on the other side, for a very long time, Wike was financing this party. Where do they get their financial funds?
With whose money?
Quite a number of them.
With whose money was he financing?
It doesn't matter whose money. The point is he's been financing.
Before 1999,
or not.
Before 1999, have you ever heard of Nelson Wike company, Nelson Wike business?
It doesn't matter though, does it?
He has been using a public fund, River State Fund, to finance the party.
We all know that, but the point is he's been financing the party.
So for me, I agree with Anyanwu that what happened in Ibadan is a jamboree, because any convention not covered by INEC, that is a waste of time. And again, I also said in the morning when I was on air with Ikami Jude that what happened, that I have said it a long time ago, that when Nigerians hear that Wike has been suspended or expelled, they shouldn't take it serious. That is part of the script. Understand? That they have written to deceive Nigerians. Because the Turaki that emerged the national chairman is on suspension from Kebbi State for anti-party activities. His ward is Nasrawa Ward 1 in Kebbi. And he was suspended in 10th of March 2023 for working against PDP. Understand me?
Okay.
So that suspension has not been lifted. The suspension was signed by the chairman of PDP in Kebbi, and that was why Kebbi delegates boycotted the convention, because this guy is on suspension. It is that same person that emerged as national chairman of PDP. So that shows you, one, all of them are working for APC. Both the Wike faction, the Bode George faction, the Shema Kinde faction, all of them are working for APC.
So you think this convention would not hold water?
Since INEC did not cover it, it's not and void. They cannot present a candidate, because INEC will reject any candidate that they presented, because INEC did not cover their convention.
Which means INEC decided to follow the judge pronunciation that says the PDP should not hold the election, because I mean there were two conflicting rulings, the Oyo ruling and the Abuja ruling.
The Abuja Friday ruling restrained INEC. Understand? They understand it's restrained INEC, and I know that INEC, having compromised, will want to obey the Abuja ruling than the Oyo State ruling.
Which one came first, though?
No, the Nelson Wike own came first through Justice James Omotosho.
That's the Abuja ruling.
That was there were 4 rulings. Then followed by Akintona ruling, Akintona in Ibadan. Understand me? Then before the former Jigawa State governor went that to court. Understand me? And his ruling came by 3 p.m. on Friday, putting the convention on hold and restraining INEC from covering the convention.
So what do you think will happen?
No, I said all of them are just like a cow owner distributing his cows to about 4 people. Understand me? That all of them are feeding the cows for 1 man. So the same thing. Whatever happens, all of them are making sure that PDP will not field the candidate in 2027.
In other words, you think the wicked faction will get the upper hand at the end of the day?
But wicked faction is still in bed with Shemak in the faction, because both of them were in GM5.
Well, but right now they're on opposite direction.
They are not in opposite direction. That is the deception that they want you to feel.
So you think they're playing to the gallery?
This is a script. Wike and Shemak Kinde are working together.
Okay.
So don't be deceived at all.
So now, Anyam obviously has rejected the expulsion, which is what the premise of the news is today. And of course, Islam, the convention as Jamboree, which obviously you agree with. So you think PDP will still remain in shambles till the 2027 election?
I have said on this program over and over that PDP is a broken down vehicle that will not be repaired till after 2027 election. So all these things is what we know already. Anyanwu was general secretary and went to contest for governorship in Imo. So when you are going into election, you resign your former position. So Anyanwu is not supposed to be the secretary of PDP as we speak. Because he has already relinquished that position when he went to contest for governorship in Imo. Understand? So because he failed, shouldn't make him that to go and take back that position. It was not his inheritance. Do you understand me? It is not, but he's one of those that Wike is using to scuttle PDP.
Meanwhile, ex-AGF Malami, Abubakar Malami, has officially announced the intention to run for governor of Kebbi State in the 2027 election. What do you think about his governorship ambition?
It has been there. He wanted that to run in 2023, but the governor persuaded him to wait. Understand? And that would have been his best chance, because then Buhari was still in power, because he is a Buhari's man. So for now, but with what is happening in Kebbi now, there must still be a good chance for him, because
under the ADC. You think so? You think he have a chance?
Under the ADC, he has a very good chance, because PDP in Kebbi is in shambles. Understand? APC now, they are not doing well. Now. The national chairman, the current national chairman of PDP, who is from Kebbi, was suspended in Kebbi. Do you understand me? And the governor is not doing well. Understand me?
I mean, the governor has announced his defection, officially announced his defection to the APC. He's a PDP governor, right? The Kebbi State governor?
No.
Okay, there was a governor. I'm trying to remember.
Kefas of Taraba.
Yes, Taraba. Yes. He's announced that on Wednesday he will officially leave the PDP to the APC, saying that there will be an explosion on Wednesday. What do you think the explosion?
There's no explosion because what is happening now? Tinubu is thinking about can I still go on with a Muslim ticket, because Donald Trump pronouncement has shaken a lot of things. So, and this guy coming from the northeast feel that if Tinubu want to use a Christian candidate, that it might benefit him. Understand me?
Okay.
The same thing that governor of Plateau State is thinking. The same thing with Dogara from Bauchi is also thinking. So none is defecting because they love other people. They are defecting because of their selfish interests. This is what Nigerians must know.
And going back to Malami, I mean, it's very interesting him criticizing the All Progressives Congress (APC), accusing the party of worsening conditions in the north and leaving farmers at the mercy of insecurity. Which is
true now.
Which is an interesting thing to say, considering he was in government in the last APC dispensation, which which signaled a rise in insecurity in Nigeria, including the north. We was AGF.
He was there for 8 years.
Exactly, 8 years.
Yes, and but now he's no more there. Maybe he can give this as a reason.
Because he didn't see his place in the current APC. I mean, his principle is no longer there to help push him.
He can give this as one of the reasons why he defected to ADC. Now imagine this 24 school students and the vice principal that was killed. So talking about insecurity, he has his reasons, and the politicians believe that Nigerians have a short memories. Understand me?
But we do actually.
Okay, sure. Understand me.
To the next topic for discussion, the presidency and Peter Obi are clashing over a number of delegates being sent to COP30. According to the figures here, Nigeria has 749 delegates, and out of the 749, 243 of them, only 423 of them rather, are government delegates. And if you look at the reasons for Obi's criticism here, I mean, it is valid. I mean, what are we doing with 749 delegates at a time where people have been clamoring for reduced government spending?
90% of those people there are going because of Esther Code. 90% of them there has no business going there. So,
I mean, I saw some of the delegates, and really they don't.
So imagine competing with
China,
or the second largest economy in the world, and with a population of above 1.4 billion. Understand? Check. Peter Obi said 18 point something. Chinese economy is 19 trillion. 19 trillion. So next to America. While we are just battling with below $250 billion. Understand? Because by 2015, Nigeria has $500 billion worth economy, and if Jonathan has continued by 2019, we will have gotten a 1 trillion economy. But the APC has come and reduced it by half. Understand? And we are not going to get this even in the next 25 didn't come. So what Peter Obi said is truth. We compete on delegation. Understand? And people who are going there have no business going there. Check the number of people countries that are richer than Nigeria.
Said way more smaller delegation.
Understand? So all of them are just there because of what they are going there to get for personal interest, personal reasons. Esther Code.
I mean, it's interesting where the government keep urging Nigerians to tighten their belt, keep urging Nigerians to persevere, that the good times are coming. And how do you urge Nigerians to persevere when you at the top are not leading by example?
That is it now. That's the problem. So for me, I'm not seeing any positivity at all. I'm not seeing any positivity.
Dr. Anosike, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
That was a Peter Anosike, current affairs analyst. He's also academic doctor with PhD on consulting and profit management from Brainerd University in the state of Delaware, United States. He is the author of the book Abuse of Power: How Democracy Turned into Tyranny of the Few. And for a quick look at what's happening outside Nigeria, Sheikh Hasina, the ousted Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has been sentenced to death after being found guilty of crimes against humanity for the violent suppression of student protests last year that led to the collapse of a government. A panel of 3 judges from the International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh's Domestic War Crimes Court, delivered their verdict Monday, ruling that Hasina was responsible for inciting hundreds of extrajudicial killings carried out by law enforcement. The courtroom, where some victims' families were present, burst into applause as the judges delivered their sentence. What began as peaceful student demonstrations of our civil service job quotas last year transformed into a nationwide push for Hasina's resignation. The turning point was a government crackdown that may have killed up to 1,400 people, according to the UN Human Rights Office. Up to 25,000 were also injured, the court heard. Hasina faced 5 charges, primarily related to inciting the murder of the protesters, ordering protesters be hanged, and ordering the use of lethal weapons, drones, and helicopters to suppress the unrest. She denies the charges. The former leader ruled the South Asian nation with an iron fist from 2009 until her ouster in 2024, and it's feared Monday's verdict could set off a wave of political chaos ahead of national elections expected in February next year. Hasina has been living in self-imposed exile in India's capital, New Delhi, since August last year after the student protesters forced her and her Awami League political party out of power. Finally, on sports news, Super Eagles won't be at the 2026 World Cup in Canada, the US, and Mexico. This was after Nigeria lost on penalties to DR Congo in a tightly contested African playoffs final on Sunday. The game ended 1-1 after normal and extra time, but during penalties, the Leopards of DR Congo overpowered the Super Eagles 3-4 to pick Africa's sole ticket for the intercontinental playoffs built for March next year. Nigeria have taken the lead just 3 minutes into the final game in Rabat, Morocco. Midfielder Frank Onyeka struck just within minutes of the game to give Nigeria the advantage. The Super Eagles looked to make it 2, but were unable to finish off their chances. As the game wore on, the Central Africans grew into the match, dictating the tempo of the game. It did not take long before the got things level. Mechak Elia equalized in the 32nd minute, pegging Nigeria back. The scoreline remained the same until the end of extra time. When it got to penalties, Nwabali saved 2. However, it ended sudden death. Defender Semi Ajayi's effort was saved before Chancel Mbemba scored the winning spot kick to pick DR Congo's ticket to the intercontinental playoffs. The Super Eagles had defeated Gabon 4-1 to reach the stage, while DR Congo pipped Cameroon. Nigeria will now turn their attention to the 2025 AFCON built for Morocco next month. And just before we go, here again are the top stories. U.S. Congress to hear Nigerian Christian prosecution claims on Thursday. Bandits abduct 25 schoolgirls, kill vice principal in deadly attack on Kebbi school. Anyanwu reject expulsion from PDP, slams Ibadan convention as jamboree. Ex-AGF Malami declares 2027 Kebbi governorship bid. Presidency and Obi clash over 423-man Nigerian delegation for COP30. Bangladesh's ousted leader Sheikh Hasina sentenced to death after crimes against humanity conviction. And in sports, DR Congo shatter Nigeria's 2026 World Cup dream. And that's the World News at 12 from Voice of the People 90.3 FM. I am Solomon of Do follow our social media handles at VOP 903 FM. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at VOP 903 FM. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.